Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Atau kedua adalah mengajukan alat untuk kesehatan dari Mas Universitas Negeri Semarang. Di bawah itu.
This one is the city of and not of but this
Terima kasih. Tadi yang silakan dulu kembali. Acara yang juga adalah bacaan doa.
The third event is the recitation of prayer.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami yang berkumpul di tempat ini dalam rangka kegiatan Studium General dan pelatihan manajemen pidana 2024 memanjatkan puji syukur dari Mu yang tak terhingga, sehingga kami dapat berkumpul dalam keadaan sehat dan melakukan suatu. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Penyayang, anugerahkan kepada kami ketabahan ketika menghadapi hambatan dan cobaan. Bentangkanlah jalan kemudahan dalam harumi kehidupan ini. Jadikan kami insan yang cendekia, mandiri dan berdoa. Berikanlah kami kebijaksanaan dan kekuatan untuk mengambil tindakan yang tepat dalam situasi darurat. Dan jadikanlah kami alat dalam bagi mereka yang membutuhkan saat kesulitan. Semoga acara ini menjadi sarana pembelajaran yang berharga bagi kami semua. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Pengampun, ampunilah dosa kami, dosa orang tua kami, dosa para pemimpin kami, dan dosa para pendahulu. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Acara yang pertama adalah sambutan dari Koordinator Prodi Sarjana Kesehatan Masyarakat Fakultas Kedokteran Universitas Negeri Semarang, sekaligus berkenan untuk membuka acara kuliah umum dan pelatihan pendidikan 2024.
The floor given is speech and opening of this lecture and disaster management training in 2024 by coordinator of the Bachelor of Public Health Program, Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Negeri Semarang.
Kepada Bapak Muhammad Hazinar SKMMS, dipersilakan.
To Mr. Muhammad Azinar, SKM First, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum. Dan khusus untuk khusus Salam Om Swastiastu Namo Buddhaya Salam Kebajikan. Teman-teman, guest lecturer and disaster management training 2024, Mr. Prastadan from India, and Bernardina of the work from Nancy. Welcome to Universitas Negeri Semarang, Faculty of Medicine. And Generale, lecturer staff the Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Negeri Semarang, and the participant of first and foremost, let's express our deepest gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His protection and immense grace, allowing us to gather today for the Studium Generale with the theme of disaster management for life-saving in emergency situation. As we all know, Indonesia is country prone to natural disasters such as tsunami, volcanic eruption, flood, and landslide are example of the various type of disaster. This disaster can cause infrastructure damage, loss of life, and significant economic losses. Therefore, as public health expert, it's essential for use to enhance knowledge and capacity in disaster management. Disaster management is a process to reduce the risk, impact, and casualties caused by natural disaster. So, to the event, I brought a student who came out today
called get deeper understanding of the importance of disaster management and how to save lives in emergency situation. I hope this activity will provide you with further insight for the project. To all of the students who have participated in the event, I hope you can listen closely to the material that we be delivering by our amazing speaker. So, this study general serve as platform for use, claim, and seek information about disaster management so we can be better prepared to face potential natural disaster in future. Without further ado, they say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Studium General opened with the disaster management for the second in emergency situation was officially opened. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yang telah menyampaikan sambutannya sekaligus dengan pembukaan acara dia dan pelatihan yang dilakukan 2024.
Thank you to Mr. Muhammad Azimir for the speech. And can we open the opening of this lecture in disaster management training in 2024?
Acara yang kelima adalah penandatanganan implementation of the team. Penandatanganan yang pertama oleh Mr. Raja tanpa Kandar dan Bapak Muhammad Azimir dipersilakan.
The fifth event is the signing of the implementation of agreement. Firstly, by Mr. Rajrata Lakhander and Mr. Muhammad Azimir, please come forward to sign the implementation of agreement. Mr. Rajrata Lakhander, you may come back to your seat.
Yang kedua kepada Mrs. Luxmasia Abdullah dipersilakan.
Mrs. Nurshmasina Abdullah, please come forward to sign the implementation of agreement.
Pada sisi itu sebenarnya apa belum bisa itu ya.
This national popular human combat leadership.
Yang ketiga, kepada Bapak di Yuranto Hermawan, dipersilakan.
Mr. Dwi Yunanto Hermawan, please come forward to sign the implementation of agreement.
Kepada Bapak di Yuranto Hermawan, dipersilakan.
Mr. Dwi Yunanto Hermawan, you may come with yourself.
Yang keempat, pada Ibu Heni Widianto, dipersilakan.
Mrs. Heidi Widianingrum, please come forward to sign the implementation of agreement.
Pada Ibu Heni Widianto, silakan dulu.
Mrs. Heidi Widianingrum, you may come with yourself.
Acara yang datang adalah sesi dokumentasi. Hadirin dimohon untuk berdiri.
This agreement is the documentation session. Ladies and gentlemen, I request to stand.
Come, guys.
Hadirin silakan duduk kembali.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Pada tahun yang apabila memiliki agenda, silakan untuk melanjutkan agenda.
For all the parent guests, if they have another agenda, are welcome to continue the agenda.
Tantangan selanjutnya memberikan peningkatan kesehatan.
The next agenda is giving the supplement to the speaker.
Yang pertama, itu adalah setelah pertambahan nanti.
Hello everyone. Sure, you are all eager to hear all our sorry. Hello everyone. I'm sure you are all here to I'm sorry. I'm sure you are all eager to hear from our speakers. It is all afternoon, right? So without further ado, let's invite our moderator, whom you also know because he is one of our lecturers. Let's welcome Mrs. Putri Rosa STM. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I think all of you in here want to know about disaster management. Is it right? Okay, I thank for the committee for giving me such an opportunity to become a moderator in here. Today we have what is this? We have the special session, especially in disaster management, with the topic disaster management for life saving in emergency situation. Do you know we have two leaders speaker in this session today? The first is Mr. Rajhan Lokande, and second is Mr. Titik Nurmazina Abdullah. I will invite both of those to come in this stage with me. Please give big applause for. This is the our great speaker today, Edith. So I hope all of you in here give the big attention for our session today. Okay. In this session, we have a lot of discuss about data for advocacy. But we considering about what is it? Gender, disability, and social inclusion. So I hope you get the big attention for this matter, so because it's so valuable information. Okay. For your information, Mr. Raj and Mrs. Nurmazina, we have around 250 participants. So huge number of participants in the Studium Generale. Sorry. Around 8 p.m. Sorry. I think how about your first impression if you see a lot of number of participants here? Wow, fantastic. Okay. Before we go to, I got the information. Okay, I will sit it down here. I got the information. This is the first time this is so much in a campus malam. How about you, Nicholas? Is it the person? To the city, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
was correct.
How about Semarang? India. India. Your father. Mana India?
Oh, India. What is that?
Oh, we just allow the India. Okay, before we go into the session, I will inform you if we have two parts of the topic. The second part will be presented by Mr. Raj, and the second will be presented by Mrs. Nurmazina, and every speaker has 20 minutes, and I will inform you if the 5 minutes left. Okay. And for the participant, if you have eager to know more about the disaster management or with the topic, I will give you session in the last in the question and answer session. Okay. Now we will go move on the first topic. The first topic is presented by Mr. Raj, with the title is data for advocacy. Data for advocacy. Okay. I will say about this background. He has worked at IPPF or International Parenthood
Parenthood Association.
Parenthood Association. This is like PKBI, but in the international level. Do you know PKBI? And this is PKBI in the international level. Okay. He is senior advisor for monitoring and evaluation in humanitarian program. Okay. I will invite Mr. Raj to present the study the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, great. The topic is very serious, but I don't want to make it serious. So the thing is that I'm going to present the data in a more presentable form. What are the various ways we can present our data for various purposes? Whether it be advocacy, you understand, or should I go slowly? So, whether you use data for advocacy, whether you use data for resource mobilization, fundraising, it is important. Whether you use data to communicate to the beneficiaries, to the population, or whether you use data for any other purpose, for reporting to donor, governments. So you need to know the various forms of presenting your data. So that is what my intention was. Like, don't be very focused on the data for advocacy, but going beyond that. So let's, yeah, the next slide. You see, this is very simple. You present your data mostly in chart, graph, bar graph. So this is very simple bar graph which shows the percent for the annual increase in the number of humanitarian clients over the period of 2014 to 2020. This is very simple, but I want to make it more interesting. Next slide. Here you can show a comparison. So the blue bar is the total clients, and out of that, how many were humanitarian clients? This is the IPPF data, humanitarian program data, which shows the comparison like
of this total IPPF clients, around 71 million last year, 2023, 13.7 million were humanitarian clients, and it constituted 19% of the total IPPF humanitarian clients. And if you see the overall trend, it started from 2017, 4%, and now it is 19%. So that's an interesting trend. You will start learn, like the audience, you will start to take interest into that. Oh, wow. And then they will ask 10 more questions. Okay. Next slide. This is again a comparison, pie charts. You show the contribution of various regions. Now, this is again taken from the 2023 humanitarian clients achievements. So different regions, majority coming from Arab region. Arab world, Middle East is having crisis, right? So majority of the clients are contributing from there. But if you see another graph, the next slide, bar. So it shows per stage of first blue bar. So it is just not how many clients reached, but we had in the proposal, we had mentioned maybe 1,000 clients. Out of 1,000 clients, how many percentage you reached? Okay, out of the 1,000 maybe reach. The next yellow bar is about out clients, how many receive specific here, because IPPF is more sexual reproductive health service provider. So we are more specialized in providing all the SRH related services, whether it be family planning contraceptives, whether it be HIV STIs, logical services, obstetric services, what else? Pediatric services. All this gynecological services includes cancer screening, breast cancer screening, cervical screening. Obstetric services includes ANC, PNC. You understand ANC, PNC? Antenatal care, postnatal care. So all these services, and also gender-based violence. So these are considered as SRH, Sexual Reproductive Health Services. So out of those 800 clients, we had targeted 1,000. Out of that, we reached 800. So 80% reach. And out of those 800 clients, then how many received SRH services? So this is not just how many clients received, but how many of them percentage. So something interesting. So the audience, when they look into this, whether it be the donor, whether it be your whomever do this advocacy with, or national governments, so they would be more interested, better, and would be promoting for more fundraising activities and those things. So yeah, next slide. This is very simple table. I have kept tables also because these are also equally important to show the numbers, but just not numbers. I'm showing here impact indicators. Now, you have to be clear whenever you are considering any indicators for reporting, you have to ensure those are universally accepted, standardized. Okay. So it is easy for you to compare maybe one country with another country, one province with another province. So here I have taken this SRH, health related impact indicators. We use MSI impact tool. The first indicator is CYP. Anyone? CYP full form? CYP? Anyone? We have boxes. Anyone knows CYP? No? Have question? No? Okay. Probably in future discussion about this indicators related to SRH. And you can always Google it. What is the full form? I'm not going into much definition, but it is related to contraceptive use. So if a woman uses condom, example. So one condom use gives only one CYP, couple years of protection. So when she uses one condoms, so during once she is protected, either because of HIV, STI, but here we are talking about family planning. So, okay, for having avoiding pregnancy. And if she uses IUD, intrauterine device, everyone heard about it? Or implant? Okay. So if they use that, so then the CYP increases because IUD is for intrauterine device, is for how many years? Now it is up to 10 years. You can keep it inside 10 years. Don't become pregnant. If you want, after 5 years, you can remove it. So 5 years couple protection. Excellent. Nothing to do now. Okay. They can enjoy sexual life. So that is CYP. So similarly, there are other indicators. Pregnancies averted. So again, these indicators are related to the contraceptive. So many contraceptives muted. Based on that, we calculate all these impact indicators. Now, these impact indicators, we can compare with other organizations. We can compare between different countries, between different provinces, whatever you want to compare with. So my message here is use standardized indicators, which is universally accepted, internationally accepted. Okay. Yeah, next. Another way of presenting your data is on the global maps. Where is your presence? You might show Indonesia, and then a lot of humanitarian disasters. You can show it on the map, right? So this is our across 2023. We did 23 emergency responses, and in various countries, majority in Asia Pacific region, including the Pacific, and some in the Latin America. Next slide. The other way of presenting the same map is using interactive dashboards. You can see the color change, right? Depending on the prevalence of certain. Okay, here we have taken maternal mortality rate as one of the indicator. So different countries are shaded in different colors on the whole range. And then you can identify which country has more maternal mortality, where you can focus, which country or which province is your priority, and then have key messages on the side. So like between 2020 to 2027, maternal mortality reduced 38%. That's your key message over a period of 17 years. So similarly, what is that? Percent of maternal mortality is in low middle income countries. That's your key message to your audience. It could be this is more for the donors. Next slide. Another way of presenting. Instead of 33% of the clients who are affected with gender-based violence, you can say 1 in 3 women had 1 in 5 before the age. Instead of saying 20% of the girls get married before the age of 18, way. This is taken from you. Slide. One in every 10 minutes, one right? You get serious about it. Like every 11 minutes, one girl is getting killed by the family members globally. What is your situation in your country, or maybe the other country, my neighboring country? Why Philippines is better than Indonesia? Something like that. You have to, that should create interest based on what you present the data. Next slide. Then if you are more statistical, more computer-based, savvy, so you can develop your own dashboard using Power BI. So more interactive. This I had created. So then on the orange colors, you can select the regions, and accordingly, the rest of this graphs and charts, they change accordingly. So they will just have that. If you select Arab world, so then they will show only the data related to Arab world, the pie chart, graph, and all the meter, speedometer, and everything. So this is again an interactive dashboard which you can showcase to the partners, stakeholders. Yeah. Next. Comparative. 15% in now GBV, gender-based violence with women. And mostly, so these kind of data you have to present different formats. to get the participants, whoever your audience, their engagement, their involvement. Yeah, next. Fact sheets. Most of the UN develop these fact sheets. It's kind of one pager. I am a minister. You will give me something like a 100-page document. I don't have time to read. Give me one page. Maybe I'll browse through it. Okay, this is a key. Yeah. Okay. So these are the key points, bullet points, very brief. They can browse through it while traveling, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes. So these are fact sheets. You can use them very effectively. Next slide. Similarly, the other fact sheet, only numbers, numbers, numbers. You're giving them percentage, and then down below there is indicator. So they don't have time to listen to your 1 hour, 2 hours, or 1 day workshop. No, I don't have time. I have a lot of things to do. Prime Minister called me. So yeah, I give you fact sheet. You read it, finish. Your message is done. Next slide. Again, this is very interesting to learn. Returns on investment. So nice to hear. If I spend $1 in education, I get $16 in return. Through employment and increasing the GDP of the country. Similarly, the down one, every $1 invested in disaster preparedness, mitigations saves $6 during the response. So you have to come up with such kind of eye-catching statements. This is again data. Next slide. Finally, value for money. Every donor, every government wants to know, if I give you 100 million Indonesia rupiah, you will do with that? How many people you will reach? How many services you will provide? If you provide one services, that is not sufficient. I want more, like how resources are used. So this is again very important. And probably my last slide, I end up with this small video, 1 minute, 1.5 minute video. Yeah, next slide. To show again the importance. Now, all these things were numbers, 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 quantitative data, but also qualitative data is important, either through use of photo documentation or video documentation. So this is one of them. Yeah, start video. You have to click in the center. Probably link is not working. It's okay. I'll keep this presentation with you, and whenever you get time, you can always refer to it. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. for giving us how to manage the data so everything so we can get the valuable information for the stakeholders. Okay. I think the stakeholders will happy if they see
Was it okay?
beautiful visualization of the feedback compared to the all of the narration. Okay. I'm sorry, maybe I want to take a bit time to fix the meeting. Oh, the poster.
Should I get?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Don't know.
Thank you, the committee. Okay. We go to the second topic. Are you ready? Yes, yes, I'm watching. Okay. The second topic is about let's see, gender equality, disability, and social inclusion. In emergency situation, the speaker is Mrs. Normachina Abdullah. She's worked at the same NGO with the Mr. Ras in IPPF in Malaysia.
Yeah.
There's one in Malaysia. And she's a specialist in gender diversity and inclusion. Okay, I will invite Mrs. Normachina to listen. The time is now.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's very long. Just call me Dina. Just Dina. So, okay. I want to know how are you feeling? It's a bit hot. It's afternoon. Kalau petang di sini panggil sore. Panggil sore. So, if it's okay, I will mix language. Okay. I also know I speak one Malaysia, so maybe it's a bit different, but we can just mix. So I'm going to follow on. So Raj was talking about data. So the important thing about data is that we must present the, you know what's happening now. You know what's happening in your country, but the mic is not working. Sorry. That's okay. But now I'm going to the people, the youth. So you are the people, of course. I'm going to focus on gender equality, disability, and social inclusion. And this is a big word, right? It sounds like very technical, but we're going to break it down. So humanitarian settings and emergency settings, we'll use it interchangeably, the same thing. Okay, we can go next, sorry, next, okay. So my slides, I only have 4 slides, so it's very short, but I wanted to ask you more questions if it's okay. So I'm going to start with this. So for just, sorry, thank you. For JETSI emergencies, wait, let's just put push the word JETSI because it's like so technical. But the goal in anything that we do, in the humanitarian work that we do, but also in any service, is to leave no one behind. Maksudnya, kita nak make sure that we are inclusive. Kita nak sampai services to semua orang. Kita tak nak sesiapa yang tidak dapat access services, tidak dapat access kesihatan, services kesihatan. So why? So when you look at statistics, why it's important to also why don't we just say, of course, semua orang penting, yeah? But of course, why they can specify certain groups? Is because statistics macam ni, 60 to 70%. This is from your Indonesian BNPB data I found via Google and Google. So 60 to 70% of disaster victims in Indonesia are women and children. And the group of women who die during disaster is 14 times greater. 14 kali lebih ramai daripada adult men. So there's a lot of reasons why, but it's important to have this data. Like Raj said, the first thing you see and you know this is something. This is important. So why? There's increased rate of violence when it comes to emergencies. Whether it's climate-induced emergencies. There's increased risk of violence for a lot of people. Intimate partner violence, sexual violence, violence to community minority, sexual minority, ataupun undocumented people refugee, people yang migran yang tak ada documents, premature mutilation, all this LGBTQ, semua ni increased risk. Not that biasanya tak ada risk, tapi bila ada emergency, semuanya become worse. So why? Because we have disruption in infrastructure. So you don't have schools. For example, during COVID, back in Malaysia, you have people living dalam flats, rumah kecil, but then adik-adiknya ada 7 orang. So rumahnya ada 2 je bilik. So what happened? Everybody cramped in the house, and then you can't go out. Increased risk of gaduh and then violence, and also sexual violence. Because school is their safe space, but they can no longer go to school. So this is an example of disruption. Roads, of course, access, obviously, because we cannot leave, right? Because of the disruption. And reproductive health services. So biasanya dalam emergency, yang akan diutamakan adalah the general health. Of course, because people get sick. But SRH services biasanya akan put to halt, which is why for IPPF, we push for SRH service because it's usually because of the yeah, so I'm not going to go into detail because you're going to understand that of course in this emergency you don't go through the full spectrum. Apa yang the important one yang wajib adalah yang one it's not my technical expertise, I'm not going to talk much about it. And then there will be rights in unintended pregnancy, child marriage, also child mortality. Child mortality basically rights in death of children and women especially. Okay, all this means that what I'm trying to say with all this is that dalam emergency setting, the gap, biasanya the gap antara people who are biasanya we will say marginalized. What is marginalized? People you don't normally see. People you wherever room you go to the shopping mall, you go to the university. These are the unseen people who normally you don't meet and are normally typically left behind because we don't see them, right? And the gap is wider in humanitarian security. You likely tak nampak because you are only be able to usually the majority, but the minority you will usually be. It's hard to reach, right? Whether it's geographically hard to reach, otherwise. Yeah. Okay, and so on. So I'm going to go to next slide. Next slide. Okay. So how do we respond in emergency crisis with this evidence? Later on, I'm going to talk about macam mana we want to be able to pakai JETC as a lens, like be able to see the world through this gender and inclusion punya view. But we're going to put that on pause first. So this is kind of the technical things that is needed. When it comes to emergency crisis, the preparation is not during emergency crisis, it's during normal times. During times that we don't have anything, that's when we start building the foundation, building the work. So for example, JETC analysis is I'm not going to talk about the tools. I haven't lucky the links so that you can read yourself when you go in that. Because you're students, I'm sure you read academic papers all the time. So you're used to that. I'm going to share that. But here, I just want to say that we do analysis so that we identify who actually we want to reach, who are they, and then example, who are they, and then apa keperluan mereka, and why is it that orang tak dapat keperluan itu sebab so we can fill the gap. And also dia punya strategies, how we can reach them, the capacity, not just their capacity, but kita boleh sebenarnya like we want to reach everyone, but we can't save the world. So we have to know what is within our ability. So this is the analysis that we do. Sebelum an emergency, during emergency, and after emergency. Maknanya it's something that you can just continuously build up in your organization. So then there's humanitarian preparedness, response capacity building, and here's the word response. So humanitarian preparedness maknanya again prepare for just in case of an emergency that's coming, the plan, and how do you do that? Through partnership, because you can't and you should not do it alone. So you should always have partnership with universities, with local government units, community leaders, and you build referral systems. Referral is like, come to my clinic, and I don't have all the services. I should partner dengan other organization yang have. So you come to me, I can't do it, I refer to someone else. So you have this partnership before the emergency times. And then MIST, I will not talk about MIST, which is minimum initial service package, which is basically a big word to say that what is the wajib services that you give during this time. And then the inclusive programming and design. So in anything that you do, right, before you start anything, the table that you're sitting on, you have to design it in a way that berguna for the people, bermanfaat for the people who sit in there, right? So they bukan just people ada, but the people, the designers, actually design in a way that is good and useful for the people who are going to use it. Same to the programs. So if you want to build a program, in whatever that you do, you're all in second year public health. So you're going to go and work in many different kind of jobs. Maybe not, maybe public health, maybe not public health. Because you're always designing something. You're designing a program, designing a proposal, designing an activity. So when you design this, if you have that gender lens, you'll be able to make sure actually who's my target client, target audience. Even if you give a speech, look at that, who is listening? And what do I want them to hear and how can it help them? So tengok macam ni kan, like you're going to identify who they are and what is the barrier to their access to whatever service or whatever you want them to have, and how can you minimize it? Maybe you want them to remove very difficult, but to minimize. How do you build the demand? Sometimes we want to do something but macam short sendiri. You know the word we have to label it when short sendiri. Macam kita nak, macam yeah, we're going to give the service, and then ada orang suffer begitu, dan ada orang macam. So when I was in university student, yeah, it happens a lot to us because we think we know what people need, and then we go in, and then it's not what people need, and then kita macam, you know, they're young. So this is the thing where it's important to understand it. That's why you have the data, that's why you have the analysis, so that you can have a good program. And then you go to this converted aggregated data. So this data is like what Raj said, right? It's very important to be able to show the data. But then when you collect the data, kalau you hanya nampak kalau Malaysia lah, mostly Malaysia, I know Malaysia. I only see Malay, Chinese, Indian. Then everyone else tak muncul. But actually the truth is that a lot of different race, religion, ethnicity in Malaysia. If I did every data, basically you make sure you include everybody dalam data too. So you have like breakdown. So race in Malaysia ada banyak race. We put Punjabi, we put even the minority race that we put, you're not sure. So in Malaysia we put Malay, Chinese, Indian, dan lain-lain. Unfortunately, dan lain-lain itu dah bukan disaggregated dan dah campur together. So you can identify. So for data one, it's not a good data because we cannot really see lah. Dan lain-lain itu sama. Ya kan, betul. But yeah, I'm not going to comment on their government. I'm going to move on. So we're going to go to next. So this is just in practice. But in general, next slide. Okay, how do we build our own land? This is my favorite topic. Hopefully it will be yours also. So I'm going to give you a bit of an existential crisis. Who are you? This is the question. I want you to ask yourself. Who are you? So before we want to understand people and who we're reaching on, you have to first understand your yes, that's right, yourself. Yeah. So you imagine that this is you are in the middle and the wheel around you, right? So this is kita nak nampak kan because it's the color. So race, religion, ethnicity, your national origin. The language you speak, your favorite food, your energy, and then you have everything, your education, your role, whether you're a daughter, whether you're a brother, a son, and your work experience, education, your your identity. So you welcome this is your Rhoda identity, your identity. And how many of you have heard of the word intersectionality? Intersectionality. So intersectionality is basically dibayangkan roundabout kan? Roundabout. So roundabout tu ada intersection, satu, dua, tiga intersection. So you are in the middle of the roundabout and you have many intersections of identity. And some of these intersections, for example, have allowed you to be in this room today. So you are today in this room, all of us, because of some part of identity, whether it's our education, we scored in our high school time, and now we masuk university, or our social class, or our family background, because we have enough support from family. All these things have played a role into why we are in this room today. So each of your identity is connected to power and access. Power ni bukan power, tapi power ni adalah kebolehan untuk the power to be, power to do. I can give you a whole training, but that's not for today. But today, I just want you to think about who are you and how each of our identity have allowed you access either to this room or to the education or to the kind of life you have or the value. So you think about who is not here. For example, that I'm not, I'm able-bodied. So I know that part of it, I'm able-bodied. So who am I not? I'm not disabled. So how can I then understand that macam sometimes it's hard for us to understand other people's experience through their eyes. We can only understand through our eyes, correct? So when we want to plan something, we always see who kita punya experience lah. This is who we are, correct? However, if we can try to look beyond and understand that kadang-kadang to notice that who is not in the room with us. Why are they not in the room? Who are they? And how we can get them to be in the room with us. Of course, sometimes it's beyond our control, but this is when we need some control. Simple example. If you start working in an office, and some of your colleagues actually tak boleh makan certain foods for the allergy ataupun dia tak boleh makan beef because of allergy. If you have the gender inclusion lens, because you always want everybody to be included and safe, you'll make sure that if you order food, people think that order food or bring food, semua orang boleh makan. No one can feel like, oh, tayo tak boleh makan. So, that's the day.
So it is dinner.
Yes, 5 minutes. Okay, I'll wrap up. But the point at the end of the day is understand your own role identity. Notice who is in the room and who isn't and why. This is how we start to build our lens. But I warn you, once you start seeing, you cannot unsee anymore. Once you start seeing the people around you, and it's very good because now you can actually empathize and learn how you can make the world a better place in whatever that you do. And also, access. Access ni penting ya. When I say access, it's not just physical space, but it's also language barrier. There's so many barriers out there around. So in order to make it feel a lot more inclusive, a lot more safe wherever we are, we always try to see who is the one who cannot join us, or is it us who cannot join? How do we ask? So you think about a time in your life that you wanted something or want to be somewhere but you cannot be there, and how you want people to help you or how you can help yourself. And this is how we start to build our plans and hopefully have build a more equitable world that we want to live. Okay, that's all. Thank you. We go next slide. Next slide. That slide. There is all the reading. If you are very interested to know that all the things I talk about are basically in this thing and then the analysis and everything. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you for sharing us the comprehensive of EXC. Before we go into question and answer session, please give the applause for our speaker. Anybody want to ask for Mrs. Raj? Mr. Raj, sorry. Mr. Raj, or Mrs. Romadina? Okay. Please, committee help us to bring microphone to reach the participant. Introduce yourself and answer this question.
Good morning, sir and Miss Gina. My name is Marcel. I have interest in management research, so I want to know more about this file. I have a question, especially in management research. This question is to Mr. Raj. It can be said that developing concrete when a research force will take many victims. This is because the management system is bad, right? Then, according to the data, developing countries also have a high population rate. Situation is there a relationship or association between the high population growth rate and the number of victims during the study system? Thank you.
Did you get it?
If you correct the question first or the answer? Then,
Yeah.
okay, you can directly answer the question.
Okay.
You can repeat this.
Okay. The question is it have relationship about the population is huge number with the many victims in this location?
With men?
With many victims or
Ah.
many disaster in the,
Yeah.
I think in the negara,
If you-
country?
So, yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, it is very complicated and it all depends on the local context. So, take the example of Indonesia, which is based on the Ring of Fire. It has more frequent disasters apart from the climate change. And if you take Pacific island countries, just above Australia, New Zealand, there are small island countries. Tonga, Vanuatu, excellent names. Kiribati. So they are more to the cyclones almost every 6 months. So every 6 months, they are in the high risk alert for cyclones. But the last cyclone they had in Tonga, there was no casualty. And this was appreciated by across the other countries as well. And if I take example of India, there is one state, Odisha, which has good preparedness related activities, capacity building, institutional capacities. Okay. So there is like Red Cross who is supporting for building shelters, evacuation centers, which is one floor, one level up. So the floods is there down below, cyclone waters and everything. The whole community, village, everything, they all stay in that level one above evacuation centers. So around one evacuation center for 2 or 3 villages. If you have that kind of preparedness and institutional capacity building, so then the risk will reduce. So there is a formula which says like the risk is equal to the capacity, sorry, the hazard divided by the capacity. That means, is Indonesia at risk? How you will decide? Is equal to the disaster hazard. Hazard could be volcanic eruption, it could be cyclone, it could be floods, seasonal rainfalls and heavy floods, divide by your capacity. So if you have a good capacity, then your risk reduces. And if your capacity is not good, so then it is equivalent to the hazard. If it is a, there are cyclones, there are categories, category 3, category 4, category 5 is a big cyclone. So if it is category 5, the whole country is devastated because you don't have the capacity there. That's why. So yeah, and also again, the population means the affected population, the building the resilience of them, the preparedness work, mitigation. So if you're talking about natural disasters, which are predictable, example, okay, take this tsunami. Japan, as usual, they get a lot of earthquakes and tsunamis. So what to mitigate the effect of tsunami is some walls inside the sea, inside the water, few kilometers before the shore. So when the tsunami is coming, that wall, that big wall, that reduces the effect of the tsunami. And accordingly, so these kind of studies have to be done. And how much population is at risk example, Nepal, they are building this on the river bed. Now river bed is already soft, and now there is suddenly someday there would be floods from the glacier, lakes, flash floods and all those things, or cloud burst. So then that flash floods will bring all the big stones and everything, and they will cover this. Why are you building the houses or hotels in the river base? They will be destroyed. So all these studies have to be done based on your past experience, past knowledge. A formula, risk is equal to hazard divided by your capacity. So what capacities are required? So that is part of preparedness. If your service providers are not trained on certain topics, so then there are chances of gender-based violence. They are not aware about gender-based violence. They are not aware how to do deliveries. So then there are more chances of maternal deaths during the crisis. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Enough or even one question? Okay. That's all.
And so the conclusion is the population growth is the one of uh, the one of factor for the data of disaster, and to make the data disaster is so complicated, and there are many factors like geographic factor and the type of disaster.
Right.
So I want ask one question about hazard rate. Then hazard rate is uh, uh, is a population including to make formula hazard rate.
I think the question is how to count the hazard rate in the specific location.
In specific?
Location. A specific area. How we count the hazard rate in the specific area. The hazard rate can be counted by what is the component of hazard.
If population number is including to make formula of hazard rate.
Oh, including population number.
Yes.
Is it including for the population number to count the hazard
Yes,
rate?
yes, yes.
Yes.
So it the population density, because population could be 100, but 100 in 1 square meter, high density. So then there is a small disaster, all will be affected. If that 100 people staying in 100 square kilometer, small disaster will affect only 10 people. So it includes everything, like a lot of factors. The population numbers, the population density, the scale of the hazard, the cyclone, as I've said, is it category 3 or category 5, or only a small cyclone, or a small flood in small province or a small district, village. So it all depends on the all lot of factors, and including the capacity of the institution and the community resilience. So yeah.
Will conclude the capacity building is important component for meeting decreasing the risk of the hazard.
Yeah.
Okay, so please strengthening the capacity building, especially in your area. So in your area become decrease in
the victim or the disaster. Okay, any question before we say so much dinner? Okay. In behind, please give her microphone.
Oh, it should be you. For you. Ah.
Please introduce yourself.
Introduce myself, I'm Yola from 4B. Today, I want to ask for Dina. Thanks for the opportunity. Also, thanks for the nice presentation for us today. I have one question for Mr. Dina. And I was curious about PhD. I want to know what is the importance of understanding the build of self-identity or product identity. What are the consequences if someone doesn't understand themselves? What is the easiest way? And then one question, and then next question is, what is the easiest way to make the environment make it easy for everyone?
Please response.
Okay, I see. I'm gonna give a metaphor, right? If we don't understand our capacity, and the reason why I start with, because when we talk about, when we do our work, we do data and all this, we lose sight of people. We are dealing with people, and people are you and I. So when you talk about the identity part, we think that we don't realize that actually, for example, right, if I work in Malaysia, trans women who are non-Muslim and trans women who are Muslim, both are the stigma, all right? But access-wise, because of the law, it impacts Malay trans women more, Muslim trans women more than non-Muslim trans women. They have different legal repercussions, legal impact. However, in Malaysia, you have Bumi Putra rights, the rights of the Bumi Putra people, which are the Malay people. So on one hand, privilege, because you have access to Bumi Putra, for example, university quota, all right? However, if you are trans woman who's Malay, you have legal repercussions, and you also, so privilege is not always black and white. Access is also not black and white. If you assume that all Malay people are privileged, not always. So this, the reason why I'm saying to understand your own, I need to be able to understand your privilege, your access, but also your lack of access and who is missing in wherever you are. When you understand this, when you go on, for example, when you walk, how many times have you gone on the wheelchair access punya, what do you call it?
Ramp.
Ramp. It's even steep for people to walk that alone wheelchair. Sometimes the angle is so steep, so it's not accessible. The idea is to help the wheelchair user, but actually it's not inclusive at all. If you test it for yourself, you know this. If you are in a wheelchair, suddenly you realize a lot of things you cannot have access to. So before you start understanding people, you kind of understand your ability, your capacity, and how come you can and how come other people cannot, and vice versa. Okay, there will be a lot of things in this world. When you understand identity, you will see what is gender equality actually. What is equality? Equality, why do you say gender inequality? Why not just equality? Because the world is such that there are a lot of things in this world that impact women and girls in a way that is even higher than we see in disasters than it does. But doesn't mean that it only impacts women and girls. Absolutely not, of course not. So, but when it comes to, if you just look at women and girls, okay, then we only have women and girls. But also, that's not the case. Like in, I have a friend from Zimbabwe. He said that they wanted to increase number of girls going to schools. So they just help girls give them books and resources. At the end of the day, the family decided, okay, since my daughters can go to school for free, my son will now stay home. And then the sons now don't have access to school, and they are upset, and they have to go to work and not go to school and start working earlier. So when it comes to equality, you cannot create an equality by creating an inequality somewhere else. But if you understand your role and who you are, and identity as a whole, and how identity connects to power, access, it's a harder to explain in one way. It's hard, it's when I do this training, I do it more of an experience. We do more of a participatory than we have a discussion. It's easier for you to be able to see because life, human beings are more your living experience. Access is also your living experience. It's hard for you to imagine right now. So which is why I'm asking questions and you can come back and listen. And in terms of like, when you understand power and privilege, for example, racism, yeah? It's so hard to say what is actually racism. So if you know the obvious thing, like when people talk about race, racist like racist jokes or racist remarks, but actually it's a system. And that system connects to access to privilege, access to space, for example, language barriers. Like if I'm working in an office and I only speak one language and everyone else speak another language and they don't speak to me, they speak about me when or whatever. You know, the kind of things like you don't understand what they're saying and then you feel that you're not included and you're totally this is also discrimination. This is also connected to when you talk about privilege and power. So when you're talking about coming back to disaster management, right? It's hard for you to remove this when you're talking about planning the design, when you talk about capacity building, is because when you forget this human experience, you will lose people out because you don't understand. Disaster example, building shelters for people who live in who lost their homes. So if you have a shelter, if you think about the design, okay, if I have the toilets, unisex toilets, it might open up the chance for there to be academic violence because they say that it might not be safe for women in that space if they have to share toilets with men, exactly. Or if you have the toilets, I'm not saying all men are perpetrators, I'm saying the risk. There are risks involved. And vice versa. So you have to understand your cultural society, the data that exists, and how you can then design a space for the space. That maybe the toilets are nearby to their living place. It looks very small and petty, right? Very minor, but it does impact. That's why, again, I go back to your experience because we only know best what we know. It's hard for us to know what we don't know first. So that comes from our own experiences and through listening to our own experiences. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Gina, for responding question. After that, we will see your video. We can take your video.
Okay.
Let's play the video. This committee, you can help me to play the video. Video is about
1.5 to 2 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you can
Yeah.
use mine.
So as I've said, like videos, photographs are also good presenting your.
One of the sets that
Some of this, some of our disaster responses.
handled by BBM.
Yeah, I think Ukraine, Sudan,
All of what?
yeah, Pacific, yeah. Haiti, South America. Yemen. Ah. Done. No, no, no.
This is the last video that we have seen is about a summary of disaster that handled by IPDF, especially in Filipina and Eastern parts. They handle every disaster in the all over the world. I think if you have interested in disaster management, you can join IPDF. Okay, I think this is enough our session. Before I closing this session out, I would say to take a note, take a summary, a little summary from this session. Maybe for the listeners about the data. Data is talk about so many information if we can manage them beautifully or manage them easily. So the stakeholder make concern with our problem. So we can influence them.
Yeah.
From the Mrs. Gina, we can take a note that in emergency situation, we have to concern about gender, disability, also social inclusion. So the facility for all of you have we facilitate. I think enough for our session. 1 second. One more. Please big applause for our thank you for sharing your experience or sharing me with update knowledge and update more about the disaster management. I also thank appreciate for all participation who active participation in our session. Okay, I think enough for our session. I apologize for any mistake. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you in the next session. I will give back in MC for the
Thank you.
Thank you. It is today we start.
Yeah.
For the event.